You won't believe how this story begins, because even the bride herself didn't know the truth that day. She stood in a small frontier church, marrying a stranger she barely understood or trusted. What nobody saw was a man in the back, hiding emotions he buried for 15 long years. This wasn't a wedding born from love, but from survival, loneliness, and the Wild West's cruelty. And here's the shocking part, that stranger groom had loved her quietly long before vows. So stay with me, because what unfolds next changes everything you think you know. Imagine discovering your husband already knew your pain, your past, and your dreams. That's where our story truly starts, right here, right now, together. Lean in closely, because this isn't just a love story, it's a revelation. And trust me, you'll want to hear how silence shaped destiny in the West. Now let me take you back 15 years before that wedding morning ever arrived. She was younger then, strong but broken, surviving alone after tragedy stripped her world. The frontier wasn't kind to widows, daughters without fathers, or women without protection. Every day demanded grit, courage, and choices that left scars behind the eyes. And somewhere nearby, always watching from a respectful distance, stood him. He never spoke his feelings, never crossed lines, never asked for anything. He helped when storms came, when fences fell, when hope felt thin. She noticed his kindness but never suspected the depth behind his silence. To her, he was simply another steady face in an unsteady land. To him, she was the reason he woke up breathing every morning. Years passed like dust carried by relentless prairie winds and restless seasons. She loved someone else once, lost them, and learned how grief reshapes the soul. He watched from afar, respecting her sorrow, swallowing his own longing daily. In the Wild West, men were taught silence more than confession or vulnerability. So he stayed quiet, believing her happiness mattered more than his desire. He fixed her roof after storms, guided cattle when she was ill. Never once did he ask for affection, gratitude, or recognition in return. Every act was love disguised as duty, friendship, or neighborly obligation. She trusted him, but never imagined his heart carried her name. And that silence stretched not weeks, but 15 long, aching years. Real trouble arrived when the land changed hands and danger followed new owners. A powerful ranch syndicate wanted her property, and intimidation soon turned threatening. Alone women were easy targets in towns where law traveled slowly. She faced eviction, ruin, and violence, all while trying to remain strong. He stepped closer then, not as a hero, but as a solution. Marriage offered protection, legitimacy, and safety in a harsh legal system. He proposed plainly, without romance, without pressure, without revealing his heart. She hesitated, confused, but desperation weighs heavier than doubt sometimes. To her, he was a stranger offering security, not love. And so she said yes, unaware of the depth beneath his calm eyes. Their wedding day felt strange, quiet, and emotionally distant for her. She wondered if she had made a mistake binding her future so blindly. He stood steady, hiding a storm of emotions behind disciplined restraint. Every vow echoed promises he had already lived for 15 years. When he said he would protect her, he meant it deeply. When he promised loyalty, it was something he had never broken. She noticed his hands tremble slightly, but assumed it was nerves. She didn't know those hands once shook holding back unspoken love. The guests saw a practical union, nothing more, nothing less. But inside him, a lifelong dream had finally crossed a fragile line. Married life began awkwardly, two strangers sharing space and daily routines. She set emotional boundaries, reminding herself this wasn't a love match. He respected every limit, never pushing, never demanding affection or closeness. That respect confused her more than aggression ever could have. He listened when she spoke, remembered details others always forgot. He knew how she liked her coffee, silence, and evenings alone. Sometimes she caught him watching her with soft, unreadable expressions. When she asked questions, he answered simply, never revealing history. Slowly, she began feeling safe in ways she hadn't before. Safety, she learned, was the first crack where love might enter. one night, danger finally arrived in the form of armed men. The syndicate tried to force her land away through violence. Without hesitation, he stood between her and the rifles pointed forward. She saw fear in his eyes, but also fierce, unyielding resolve. He fought not like a man protecting property, but protecting a life. Afterward, shaken, she asked why he risked everything for her. His answer was simple, almost dismissive, saying it was his duty. But duty doesn't explain eyes filled with relief when she survived. That night, she started questioning who this man truly was. And whether a stranger could know her so deeply already. The truth came out slowly, not through confession, but memory. She found old repairs, favors, and notes she never knew came from him. Neighbors spoke casually of how he always watched over her. Stories surfaced of storms, debts, and moments he quietly intervened. 15 years of invisible devotion suddenly aligned into clarity. Confronting him, she demanded honesty, her voice shaking with emotion. He finally spoke, confessing love he never felt entitled to share. He expected nothing, asked nothing, prepared even to lose her. Instead, she cried, realizing she was never truly alone. Love hadn't appeared suddenly, it had been waiting patiently. Healing isn't instant, even when truth finally comes to light. She wrestled with guilt, gratitude, and emotions she didn't expect. He gave her space, just as he always had before. That patience became the foundation of something real and mutual. She began choosing him daily, not from fear but from affection. Laughter replaced silence, trust replaced distance, warmth replaced uncertainty. Love grew not like wildfire but like roots beneath hard soil. Strong, unseen, and capable of lasting through harsh seasons. She realized he never loved her for reward or possession. He loved her because loving her felt like purpose. When she finally said she loved him, it wasn't dramatic. It happened during an ordinary moment, shared work, shared exhaustion. He froze, unsure if he had heard correctly. Then quietly, carefully, he smiled like a man reborn. Their marriage transformed from protection into partnership and devotion. The town noticed the change, how she looked lighter, freer. People assumed love had finally grown, never knowing it always existed. 15 years of silence had finally found a voice. The stranger was never truly a stranger after all. He was a guardian heart hiding in plain sight. So here's why this story matters, and why it stays with us. Because love isn't always loud, dramatic, or instantly recognized. Sometimes love waits, protects, and sacrifices without guarantees. In a world chasing attention, quiet devotion often goes unseen. This Wild West tale reminds us to look closer at kindness. To question who stands beside us when nothing is promised. And to remember that some hearts love deeply in silence. If this story moved you, imagine how many real ones exist. Now I'd love to hear what you think about this ending. Subscribe, like this video, and share your thoughts in the comments below.